Hello, good morning class. I am your teacher of ethics, Mr. Alvin Dipagan. And before we're going to discuss the content about ethics, so we're going first to discuss the introduction to ethics. So ang outline nito, pag-aralan natin dito kung ano ang ethics at kung paano maging ethical ang ating mga decision. So, let's proceed. At pag-aralan din pala natin dito kung ano ang what makes what makes an act morally right or wrong, at what makes a person or something good or bad, and how to draw the correct conclusion about what we ought to do or what kind of person we ought to be. So first, ano ba ang ethics? O saan ba nagmula ang ethics? It says here that comes from the Greek word ethos, meaning character of customs. So maliwanag naman, no? Meaning niya is character of customs. So pag-aralan natin yung mga behavior ng isang tao. Ano ba ang difference ng ethics sa morality? Ang morality refers to human conduct and values, while ethics refers to study of those areas. So ang morality, huwag natin kalimutan na may difference pala ang morality between ethics. Ang morality, yun yung behavior ng isang tao o yung values, yung kung anong kinikilos at pinag-uugali ng isang tao. While ethics, sabi na refers to the study of those areas. Ito naman yung mag-aaral sa values o yung human conduct ng isang tao. So in other term, ethics, the code of moral principles and values that govern and the behaviors of a person or group with respect to what is right or wrong. Ethics involves a discipline that examines good or bad practices within the content of moral duty, and for moral conduct is behavior that is right or wrong. So we have here two key branches of ethics. So we have here descriptive ethics and normative ethics. For descriptive ethics, involves describing, characterizing, and studying morality. From the word itself, descriptive, ito yung mga nagdi-describe or characterizing and studying morality. While normative ethics involves supplying and justifying moral systems. So what is moral versus non-moral standards? What falls outside the sphere of morality is non-morality standards. Moral standards are different because they concern behavior that is of serious consequence to human welfare, that can profoundly injure or benefit peoples. The conventional moral norms against lying, stealing, and murdering deals with actions that can hurt people, and the moral principle that human beings should be treated with dignity and respect uplifts the human personality. So, in other terms, moral standards take priority over that other standards, including self-interest, and their soundness depends on the adequacy of the reasons that support or justifying them. So dito pag-aralan natin kung ano yung mga morality and etiquettes morality and law and professional codes. Where do moral standards come from? So first, we're going to discuss the morality and etiquettes. Etiquettes refers to any special code of behavior or courtesy. Example, it is usually considered bad etiquettes to chew with one's mouth open. Yung mga hindi ka nais-nais to, yung na-act ng isang tao, yung parang kadugyutan o kabastusan na ginagawa. Ito yung tinatawag na ating etiquettes. If we violate the rules of etiquettes that we have read in the books, then we rightly considered as ill-mannered, impolite, or even uncivilized, but not necessarily immoral. So as bilang tao sa ating lipunan, kailangan natin itong pagtuunan ng pansin kasi malalaman na natin kung binabastos na ba tayo o ano yung mga hindi ba kanais-nais sa mga mata o yung maaring makasira din sa ating personalidad. So rules of etiquettes are generally non-moral in nature. Push your chair back into place upon leaving a dinner table, but violation of etiquette can have moral implications. The male boss who refers to the female subordinates as honey or doll shows bad manners. So pagdating natin sa mga trabaho natin, hindi natin maiiwasan to na makikita minsan kasi may mga tinatawag na nating mga pasipsip minsan. So as tao na as employee sa isang workplace o isang kumpanya, kailangan din natin malaman kung binabastos na ba tayo ng ating mga boss or some of our co-workers. Morality and law. Before understanding law, we should have know that there are 4 kinds of law: statutes, regulations, common law, and constitutional law. So ano ba ang statutes law? The law which is enacted by legislative bodies. Example, the law that prohibit theft is statutes. Statutes make up a large part of the law and are what many of us mean when we speak of laws. For regulations law, limited in their knowledge, legislators often set up boards or agencies whose function include issuing detailed regulations of certain kind of conduct. Common law, it refers to a law applied in the English-speaking world when there were few statutes. Courts frequently wrote opinions explaining the basis of their decision in specific cases, including the legal principles they deemed appropriate. Each of these opinions became a precedent for later decisions in similar cases. And for constitutional law, it refers to court rulings on the constitutionality of any law. So what is professional codes? Somewhere between etiquettes and law lies professional codes of ethics. These are the rules that are supposed to govern the conduct of members of a given profession. Generally speaking, the members of the professional are understood to have agreed to abide by those rules as a condition of their engaging in that profession. Alamin dapat natin yung mga professional code or yung mga rules of and regulation ng isang firm or industry o yung kumpanyang papasukan natin. Which is naman talagang dinidiscuss ito during our orientation bago tayo pumasok sa ating mga trabaho. So where do moral standards come from? Morals come from issues taught and passed down from person to person. However, the original is based on the religious beliefs of the person sharing the moral. In short, all morals come from religion. Without religion, all things are possible and no morals are required. So, it comes from religious beliefs, sabi. So, tama naman na pag ang isang tao hindi hindi kasi uh, hindi niya nalaman yung mga salita ng Diyos o anong may yung dapat pag-uugali ng isang tao bilang isang mamamayan. Marahil maybe we can give a conclusion na yung tao na yun is hindi talaga morally o wala talagang etiquettes o wala yung hindi niya alam kung ano yung tama o mali na ginagawa niya. Morality need not rest in religion. Many people believe that morality must be based on religion, either in the sense that without religion people would have no incentive to be moral, or in the sense that only religion can provide moral guidance. Others contend that morality is based on the commands of God. None of these claims is very plausible. So hindi naman lahat naman ng morality is come from religion. Kahit nga hindi ka nagsisimba pero alam mo yung tama o mali. So okay din na na-adapt natin sa mga lipunan o yung mga sa kapwa natin din may pag-uugaling wasto. Kasi alam naman natin i-differentiate kung ano yung tama o mali. Ethical relativism. So what is ethical relativism? Is the theory that holds that morality is relative to the norms of one's culture. That is, whether an action is right or wrong depends on the moral norms of the society in which it is practiced. The same action may be morally right in one society but be morally wrong in another. Relativism and the game of business. Albert Cart, in an essay, Is Business Bluffing Ethical?, argues that a business as practiced by individuals as well as corporations has the impersonal character of a game that demands both special strategy and an understanding of its special ethical standards. Business has its own norms and rules that differs from those of the rest of the society. Thus, according to Cart, a number of things that we normally think of as were really permissible in a business content. Example, conscious misstatement and concealment of pertinent facts in negotiations, lying about one's age on a resume, deceptive packaging automotive companies, neglect of car safety and utility companies, manipulation of regulators, and overchanging of electricity users. So ito yung mga example. Yung dapat iwasan natin pag once na nasa trabaho na tayo. So what is ethical dilemma? A situation that arises when all alternative choices or behaviors have been deemed undesirable because potentially of negative ethical consequence, making it difficult to distinguish right from wrong. So ano pa? A situation that arises when naulit lang. Okay. So we are going to proceed from the criteria for ethical decision making. Most ethical dilemmas involve conflict between needs of the part and whole. individual versus the organization, and organization versus society as a whole. Managers use normative strategies to guide their decision-making, norms, and values. Ethical decision-making approaches: 1. Utilitarian approach, individualism approach, moral rights approach, and justice approach. So what is utilitarian approach? Moral behavior produces the greatest good for the greatest number. Critics fear a big brother approach and as if the common good is squeezing the life out of the individual. Example, Oregon's decision to extend Medicaid to 400,000 previously negligible recipients by refusing to pay for high-cost, high-risk procedures. And moral rights approach. Moral decisions are those that best maintain the rights of those people affected by them. An ethical decision is one that avoids interfering with the fundamental rights of others. 6 moral rights. 1. The right of free consent. 2. The right to privacy. 3. The right of freedom of conscience. 4. The right of free speech. 5. The right to due process. And 6. The right to life and safety. So sa Pilipinas kasi, itong mga moral rights natin, dinidinig din ng ating mga dapat nasa ating gobyerno. Yung right of speech natin, yung right of life and safety. Kasi 'di ba napapansin natin minsan sa mga mobile sites na minsan may mga nagraraling mga kapwa nating Pilipino. So that's the right kasi dito sa Pilipinas may karapatan pa rin tayong mag-voice out kung ano yung dapat gagawin ng ating gobyerno, yung kung ano ba yung nakakabuti sa ating mga Pilipino. So what is justice approach? Moral decisions must be based on standards of equity, fairness, impartiality. 3 types of justice approaches: distributive justice, procedural justice, and compensatory justice. So what is distributive justice? Different treatment of people should not be based on arbitrary characteristics. In case of substantive differences, people should be treated differently in proportion to the difference among them. So the word itself, distributive, kailangan pantay-pantay. So procedural justice, rules should be clearly stated and rules should be consistently and impartially enforced. From the word procedural, dapat yung maayos yung procedure niya or yung rules. For compensatory justice, individuals should be compensated for the cost of their injuries by the party responsible. Individuals should not be held responsible for matters they have no control ever. So, compensatory, ito yung bayad naman. Kasi sa kumpanya minsan o sa mga business, pag kasi na-injured yung isang tao, like may experiences as engineer, sa mga building kasi hindi kasi natin maiwasan yung mga injuries o yung mga unnecessary na pangyayari na aksidente. So yung kumpanya ang sasagot sa mga gastusin ng isang naaksidenteng tao namin. So, factors affecting ethical choices. The manager, levels or stages of moral development. Under levels or stages, pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. And the organization. The ethical organization, ethical individuals, honest, have integrity, strive for a high level of moral development, ethical leadership, provides the necessary actions, committed to ethical values, and helps others to embody those values. Organizational structure embodies a code of ethics and methods to implement ethical behavior. So, ethics and the new workplace. Telecommuting, virtual work, and flexible hours. Success of new programs depends on mutual trust. Companies that make an unwavering commitment to maintaining high standards of ethics and social responsibility will lead the way toward a brighter future for both business and society. So I have here example of ethical decision making. You can read it, and I have here also steps to ethical decision making. So thank you and thanks for listening. So if you have any questions, please give me a message to my messenger, or just have a text message or a call for me if you have any questions. So that's all. That's the introduction to ethics, and have a nice day ahead.